here in the Vaal Triangle area, and some people have been asking us, why are they here? What are they doing? What are the problems? What's going on? And that's why we're having this interview, to address all of those questions that you may have. So we're going to start with Colonel Mahapa. Welcome to IFM. It really is an honor to have you here. Thanks for coming down. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for an invite.
It's a pleasure. Okay, can you give us a brief recap now on what is going on here? How did this whole thing happen, and which stakeholders do you know of that put pressure on government to let you end up here and to intervene in the Vaal Triangle itself?
Thank you very much. Just to start it from the beginning, as the military, we act on instruction. I think this comes from the background of the medium-term budget speech of the Minister of Finance, Tito Mboweni, on the 24th of October, where he indicated that he spoke to the generals and getting also authority from the Commander-in-Chief, who's the President, that the military must get involved. And then the day after, on the 25th, we were on the ground. I was instructed by the Chief Army just to come and do an assessment. And then after doing that assessment, then I did a presentation to the Military Command Council in terms of the visual assessment prior the technical assessment, in terms of how we see the problem. And we were shocked when we arrived here to see the way people are living on a daily basis, where sewer is coming out of the houses. So it was just a shock. So fortunate enough, we took some pictures when I was doing the presentation to the Military Council, and I indicated to them, probably these pictures won't give you the true reflection in terms of what people are experiencing. And that's how we got involved, because then we were instructed by the chief that we must mobilize the team of engineers from the engineer military to come and assist jointly with Mfuleni in terms of what do they have, and then determine the gap and to move forward. So that's why we are here.
Have you done this in any other part of South Africa before? Has this instruction ever been given to the army to intervene anywhere else in South Africa before?
Look, the military is somehow structured in two phases. Mm-hmm. We've got a primary function and a secondary function. That the primary function is to defend the territory and the people of the Republic. Right. And then the secondary function is the support to the people. So we are busy with support to the people. In relation to what we are doing here, the engineer army is currently busy with a low-cost bridging in the Eastern Cape, where we're supposed to build 9 bridges, so that the people must be in a position to go from home to school the children, and then to improve the economy within that area, because now we are approaching the rainy season. Once there's a river, they cannot go to the shops, the children cannot go to school, so we are building bridges there. So this is the commitment of the military, taking into account that there's no war now. So what we are doing now is a military operation other than war. So support to the people, that we are busy. We are also busy in the continent in terms of bringing peace. We are busy in DRC. So that's what we are busy in the absence of war, hoping that we won't face war anytime soon.
Yeah, hopefully not.
That's correct, yeah.
Now, tell me, what is the scope of work that you are going to be doing down here in the Vaal Triangle, and how long do you see it taking?
The scope of work is huge, and when we came here, we did the determinants in terms of how are we going to approach this in terms of methodology, and then we somehow categorized in 3 phases, which priority 1, priority 2, and priority 3. Priority 1, which is Sebokeng, and 4 pump stations which are channeled into Sebokeng wastewater treatment plant. And then priority 2 is a Reed Sprayed, which has a 2 pump station, Reed Sprayed wastewater treatment plant with 2 pump station. And then the last one is Lugale, that's in Vereeniging, which has 36 pump stations. So it's huge. And as we speak currently, we are continuing with Sebokeng wastewater treatment plant. 1 pump station, it is complete with Dumelo, jointly with municipality Mfuleni. And I think maybe they need a force and a multiplier for the work to continue. So we are glad that they are coming out of the office, and then we are doing the job, which is a good thing.
Okay, can I just move over quickly to Liesel? I just want to find out, Liesel, from your side, where do you come in with this?
Hi. Yes, no, we are an occupational health and safety auditing company based in the Vaal Triangle, and we saw what was happening in our towns. I think the first instance was we were driving past the high school Cardinal de Wet, and we saw the sewage running where the students had to actually walk over to cross the road. And so we started communicating with Councillor Gerrie Sittenekal and other parties to where we can assist, because we have the knowledge about all the risks that are involved with environmental pollution and crime and all that. So we wanted to help and address the situation to help the community with all this.
When did you get to a point where you decided that we're not going to be able to do this on our own, we're going to need to bring in the army to assist us? When did it get to that point?
Well, initially we didn't really know that the army will be able to intervene. We actually reported all the incidents, and we went out to do site visits. Myself and Gerda were walking in the sewage, gumboot deep, to take photos and to report this to the DWS and to the local municipality, Metsi Alakua and all that, to make them aware of what's happening. And so we thought by doing that, putting pressure on that way, that they will actually start intervening and start fixing it. Yeah, and then we were happy to know that the Human Rights Commission will come into town, so we can, and they're taking it further. And I think that's where the army was brought in.
So, being involved in health and safety yourself, you obviously see this as being a crisis point at the moment for this particular area, because you're talking about health issues, you're talking about safety issues, you're talking about people's welfare and well-being. I'd just like to go back to Colonel Mahapa, if you don't mind, because this is something that you are going to need to get joint help, aren't you, with the local municipality and various other stakeholders. Who else is involved in this? Who is assisting you?
Surely, we as the military, there's no way we can do it on our own. We depend on other expertise to come on board, because if all hands are on the deck, it's easy to win and sort out or mitigate this crisis that we are facing. We have a Department of Water and Sanitation, we have COCTA, and we have Treasury is also involved. And obviously, we cannot leave out the Mfuleni local municipalities, because we are here to assist them. Yeah. Okay. And MISA, of course, is also on board.
And are you getting their cooperation? Is everything going to plan at this point?
At the beginning, it was a bit difficult, in a sense that there were various work streams. And various work streams working for the same objectives, but they are singing from different inputs.
Okay.
So eventually we sat down as these different stakeholders to say the objective is one. Let's all have one concentration. And then, we are in the process of moving forward with that. We had a different meetings with them, whereby there's a now common understanding in terms of how are we going to approach this issue. However, the challenge it would be, we need to, as you know, that monies can never be enough funding. So we are trying to source funding so that we can continue and mitigate this within the 12 months, because probably, as a preempt to your question, have been mandated here for 12 months by the chief. And should the 12 months lapse, probably they'll give us an extension. But I'm hopeful that within 12 months the problem will be solved.
I just want to find out if one of you can maybe answer this particular question. You were talking about funding, and it's no secret that the local municipality is in a finance crisis at the moment. So where is the money going to come from for this particular project? I don't know whether Gerda might be able to answer us with that one. If you just move the mic a little bit over there to Gerda, please, if you don't mind. How are we going to pay for this? The municipality, as we know, is bankrupt. I mean, to put it bluntly, where are we going to get the money for this?
Thank you, Dave. Always lekker to be here. Okay. Funding is supposedly to be sourced from National Treasury. At this stage, it's not been approved. Our budget, your budget, has not been approved as yet. But there has been funds set available for the operational side for the SANDF to start with their work. And as they are going, National Treasury will provide the necessary funds for you to do your work. Am I correct?
maybe to add on that, we had a discussion with the National Treasury whereby we presented our requirement, if you may, probably a wish list in terms of what we want. And obviously it won't be enough. So they looked into that, they took our submission, and then we'll hear from Treasury.
Okay. All right. Now, how can local businesses and community get involved? Maybe there's some way that assistance can come from that side. What can they do?
That would be of great help. I'll make an assumption that probably Department of Water and Sanitation could be the contact issue here, or department, so that we streamline all the funding, because it falls within the Department of Water and Sanitation, this crisis that we are facing. And then out of that, then they'll do the prioritization in terms of what comes first, what comes last, based on our scope of work.
Okay. Now, we haven't actually touched on one of the questions I asked you earlier. I don't think we mentioned how long it's going to take. How long are you guys going to be here for? You said that you set out various priorities, 1, 2, and 3. But have you put a timeline on this yet with regards to when it's going to be finished?
Any military operation has the end and the beginning stage. So we're given 12 months for this operation by the chief. So we are hopeful that within 12 months we'll be in a position that will solve the problem. If not, probably, because I'm making an assumption that finalizing the issues here, it will be determined by the funding. If the funding doesn't come forth as quickly as we want it, it will prolong the operation, of course. But that will have to be sanctioned by our chiefs to say, due to A, B, and C, we'll give an extension or withdraw. That will be a decision of the military chiefs.
And how many of your people are going to be here during this time?
Currently, I'm having the strength of 200 at the base, and which is an advanced team. And then within 3 to 4 weeks from now, and there's another members or force that is coming. In total, we're looking at about 500.
And those people would be what kind of people? Engineers?
We have engineers. Majority of the troops will be mainly for security, guarding of the treatment plant and the pump station, taking into account that once we occupy that particular infrastructure, it's a military zone for the duration of the operation. So we secure the infrastructure, we secure the personnel in working in there, so that when we move out, there's no any issues of vandalism as is taking place currently.
Okay, I know this. This for me is a very obvious question. What is going to happen when you guys leave? Are all those things going to be, they're not going to be vandalized? Where do we get that assurance that after you guys go, everything is still going to be working okay and it will continue to work for a long time in the future?
That's a good question. We've been discussing this question for the past 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
In particularly with all stakeholders and municipality. So we are busy drafting now the sustainment plan jointly with municipality.
Okay.
So that when we withdraw and return to base, then the operation must continue, infrastructure must be guarded. Just to add on that, we had a discussion, or the Minister of Defence and Military Veteran raised this issue, that she's of the opinion that this must be, what do you call this, benchmarking? No, the national key point.
Okay, yeah.
Once it's national key point, then it will be easy that it will be guarded 24 hours, 365 days a year. So we are going for that option. Once all these pump stations, wastewater treatment plant have been registered at national key point, then it will be easy for security. But however, the drafting is on the way, whereby sustainability report is now towards the completion phase, so that when we withdraw, then things will be operating normally.
Okay. Gerda, if I can move back to you quickly. The youth and the communities that we're referring to here, how can they get involved in making sure that this is sustainable?
Well, Dave, that's the initiative firstly brought in by the SANDF. They indicated that they will make use of youth to train them and to maintain the pumps, and in that way they can ensure sustainability when they also leave. I'm not sure, we haven't discussed the program as how it's going to happen and when it's going to start. But I'm sure coming January, February, when they have put their roots, the army has put their roots into Mfuleni, we can have an update and we can talk about it a little bit more. But they are going to make use of the youth, the unemployed youth, to help them and to train them to help Mfuleni to make it a success. Yes.
Okay. Now, is there some way, I know you just showed me something on your phone, perhaps you can elaborate on that, please, Liesel, about how people can keep up to date with what's going on, how we're progressing, how the work's coming, all that kind of stuff. How can people do that?
Yes, well, I'm also a committee member of ARPA. People will be known with ARPA. It's Mfuleni Date Space Association. Okay. We've got a website as well. So on the website, we will also be have continuous updates on videos and broadcasting and everything. But also Vaal Army is a new platform where we also keep people informed. And then you can follow Vaal Army on Twitter. It's at Vaal Army, or on Facebook. You also find the Vaal Army Facebook page, but also the ARPA Facebook page, Instagram, Vaal Army, and then on the website itself, we will post continuous updates and videos and on the progress and all that to keep to share with the community the progress on what the Army is doing.
Okay, sounds exciting. Heard it?
I just want to stress here, Dave, that it is of utmost importance that we do help the SANDF to make it a success. They are our last chance to make Mfuleni cleaner and a safer place for us. So we really want to ask the business people around outside and the community, if you want to help, if you have any assistance towards the SANDF, contact any of these platforms, myself included. We would like to put you into motion with the SANDF and really make this a success. This is really our last chance to really make Mfuleni a better place.
But now local government has got to be on board too.
Yes.
And all the other stakeholders as well that are involved. If we don't have their support, then obviously we're not going to make a success of it, are we? So it's going to be a waste of time if they're not involved.
But we are looking towards, and the SANDF does not do anything without consulting the Mfuleni Council. So they really do work hand in hand. The Colonel has just come from a meeting where they had discussed how they're going to work together. So they are really making, they are not here to take over. They're not here to take over Mfuleni's work. Mfuleni still has to do their own work. They are here, as the Colonel indicated, they are here for assistance. They are taking charge to what they can, the Mfuleni failed to do for the past how many years. So when they leave, it should be sustainable and it should stay the responsibility of the Mfuleni Council, but we cannot do it without their assistance.
Okay. Was there anything else you'd like to add, Colonel?
Yes, thank you. I just want to add in relation to the issue of the youth involvement. Within the DOD, we have a project called Kobatlala. Kobatlala is like a direct translation, get rid of poverty.
Okay.
So it's been within the department now for a year or two. So that's where we'll employ the local youth, probably training them in terms of managing the pump station, just to do maintenance, because the situation as it is now, if it was maintained, we wouldn't be where we are. So we'll just give them that basic knowledge of maintaining the pump stations and do the daily activities within the pump station. So that's what Kobatala comes in within the Department of Defense.
Okay, but this is also something to do with the river as well, isn't it? Obviously.
Yes. Yeah.
With all the effluents going into the Vaal River, because the Vaal River is basically the Vaal's top tourist attraction. That's why people come down here from Joburg. That's why people launch their boats here. So if that word gets around that the river is polluted in any way or anything like that, that's not going to be good for us as far as tourism is concerned. So that's why this is so important.
Well, that's where I just want to commend all the stakeholders that are involved, like Save the Vaal, Rosemary Anderson Kluter from Stonehaven, Gerda Senegal herself, and all parties, ARPA, everyone in the community who actually just come in and want to assist the army and want to help them make this a success, because we know the importance of the tourism and everything. We need it. Yeah.
Is there anything you want to add from your side?
Yeah, if I may, with regard of polluting the river, we know for a fact that it affects the economy.
Yes.
As we know that Gauteng is the hub of economy in relation to the RSA. So the reason why we took Sebokeng and 4 palms as a priority one, because the most village is within that area.
Okay.
And then that is discharging directly into the Vaal River. So once we stop that, at least we will minimize the toxicity of the river.
Okay. Right, great. Liesl, anything from your side you want to add? Are we missing anything? Anything you want to say?
Well, we're just excited about the Army being here, and we are looking forward to the end result. And we're really praying and trusting the Lord also to help us with this to make this succeed.
Well,
at the end of the day.
I think the passion of this man is plain for all to see. So I think it's going to be a success. I really do.
Yeah.
I think you and your team. Are you actually going to be staying here in the Vaal then for the foreseeable future?
Yes, for the duration of operation, I'm staying.
Okay, so you've set up a base.
We've set up a base
at
Vanderbilt Reservoir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to add, we are also praying. It's a joint prayer, so that we can succeed.
So does this now start basically in January, or has it started already?
We have started already from the 18th of November.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Heather, from your side, have we anything you want to add?
Just to say, they started the 18th of November and their end date is the 19th of December 2019. So hopefully by then we will know if it will be an extension. Hopefully not. These guys have been working at 16 hours a day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, they've been really working long hours. And I must say thank you for working 16 hours and coming back to a tent and only sleeping on a thick mattress like this and don't even have showers already. They are still bathing out of the skottel. We do have to say thank you for their commitment and what they bring. They really bring compassion and as you said, that compassion and passion bringing towards the Vaal River. We thank you.
But thanks to you guys as well for taking the Vaal to heart and hoping we can save our area, because it is important, of course, for every resident. And if they want to get involved, as I said, they can go onto those various websites that you've mentioned, and the businesses can get involved. They can contact you guys and that as well. But please, guys, keep IFM up to date. We'd like to keep our listeners updated with what's going on. So give us updates as soon as you get them and send them through to us, and we'll let the listeners know exactly what's happening in their area. Liesl, thank you so much. Colonel Mahapa, thank you. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed it. I will see you again soon. Hopefully in the new year we can have a sort of a recap on how it's going so far. Maybe we can do that.
Of course.
Okay, guys, thanks so much. Cheers. Bye-bye.